Hello, boys and girls. This is Ryligator, the video game playing alligator, and today I'll be bringing you Hand of Fate. Come on. Hello, boys and girls. This is Ryligator, the video game playing alligator, and today I'll be playing Hand of Fate. I'll be playing this on PS4, although I did play a little bit on a PC earlier today, just to try a few levels and whatnot. I did purchase it, because even in the first few levels I found this game very engaging, very fun, and if I had to describe it, I'd say it's a dungeon crawler, although, well, let's just get to it then.
It has been some time since you last sat at the table. Let us begin again.
Alright, this guy's talking like I played the game before, although I assure you that I have not. So, the first thing you'll notice is that there's a bunch of cards. There's a card-playing game, but they said it was a dungeon crawler. Well, that's just it. It has the, let's say, visage of a card game, but indeed it is a dungeon crawler. You'll have to take my word for it.
And one dies. Let us see what you are made of.
Okay. I'll try not to talk over this guy, although he does talk a lot,
Here
so...
is the first member of my court, the Jack of Dust. 12 in all must fall before you may challenge me.
Well, there you have it. We have to defeat first the Jack of Dust, and then a thematically named group of bosses, I guess. I don't know. There's a lot of these guys you have to fight. And they tend not to be too difficult, which is why I hesitate to call them bosses. So as you can see, separating the decks here. Oh,
where they may.
Right into it, I guess.
We begin.
Alright, let's see if I can put on some subtitles. Because like I said, he does talk a lot. And I'll try not to talk over him, but I don't make any promises. There we go. First, that menu, obviously. Okay. This also helped me to know when he's talking so I can shut up. Choose your next card. So here, that golden guy is... Well, that golden figure, I should say, is our player character, or at least a representation of him. And, well, let's not give away too much just yet. Let's just get in. Twisted Canyon.
That first moment, that glinting weapon, the call to action, to adventure. Truly, there is nothing like it.
A very important card, and you'll see why in just a moment. So this is the meat of the game, really. Like I said, there is dungeon crawling, however, I would say the core gameplay is in these little text screens here. You see a weapon glinting in the sunlight, lying next to a skeleton at the bottom of the canyon. A weapon? What is this, Castlevania? Take your time, he says.
Long enough.
And here we go. Choices, dialogue choices even. Let's see, shall we climb down and retrieve the weapon, or leave it? What's the point of adventuring if we're not going to be dangerous? Let's go grab it. Instead of a dice roll, it's a card draw. I'm a big fan of board games, Dungeons & Dragons, traditional board games like Monopoly, you name it. And I happen to love this sort of stuff. Success, 3 out of 4, not a bad chance. Very carefully, you make your way down to the bottom of the canyon. You retrieve the weapon from the ancient corpse, draw 1 weapon card. We've equipped ourselves with a sword, 23 damage, not bad, not bad. And you can see it says press square button to strike enemies. I thought this was a card game. Well, let's go ahead. Replace our axe, and we're good to go.
That
Next
will
card.
make you much more effective.
This dungeon's a bit linear, but you'll see later on they get pretty expansive. The difficulty curve in this game is pretty well done, I would say. You start in these little linear, kinda, I guess you could say one-room dungeons, and then you get to these really big, expansive ones. If you've played Darkest Dungeon, another game that I might cover in the future, it sort of has a similar roguelike properties. There is, I don't want to say permadeath, your deck stays, it keeps upgrades that you accrue along the way, but your figure, as you can see, he started with just a rusty axe. Every time you start the game, you'll get that just rusty axe. And this portion of the game is not only tutorial, but it's also equipping you with cards that give you stuff, like the Twisted Canyon we just got, and the Maiden, who's a very important card. You can ask for a longer life, supplies, or gold. I always ask for supplies. As you can see, she gives us 2 food gain cards, which, as you can guess, give us food. You can see food in the bottom left corner. Right now we have 8, which will go up to 11, and now 14. Every time we move, we're going to exhaust the food. However, in trade-off for that food, we'll get some amount of health. I believe 5. And we'll see in a bit. I usually don't take damage. Like when I lose this game, it's usually because I bite off more than I can chew. Like I take on too many enemies, and I lose all my health in one go. I don't usually starve to death. Like I said, I'm not too far in the game. We'll see in a bit. Mr. Lionel, also a very important card. Whilst enjoying your evening meal at the local tavern, a strange old man takes a seat next to yours. He taps your shoulder quite painfully with his wooden staff to get your attention, and you notice that he appears to be a goblin, poorly disguised as a human. His wizened face grins at you with a hint of madness. My name is Master Lionel. If you give me what I need, boy, I will conjure up your heart's desire with this wizarding wand of my own creation. See, as a D&D veteran, this kind of thing is always a shady startup for an adventure. However, this guy is actually legitimate. He will give you what you need. If you ask him what he needs... I need to help you! Mr. Lionel taps his staff on the ground and a shield materializes at your feet. There you go, old bean. He smiles a warm grin that reveals all his chipped and yellow teeth. Your face reminds me of my son. I haven't met you before, have I? Ah, creepy old guy.
I cannot
Such a classic.
you to get by without some protection.
As you can see, the shield gives us the ability to reflect and counter. Again, more talk of real-time commands.
Your opponent's ranged attacks.
What could be awaiting us in the combat?
Make good use of this skill. If
He snatches a pickled onion off your plate and sprints out the tavern door. Probably wasn't gonna eat that anyway. I personally don't like onions, let alone pickled onions. It's more of a UK thing. I myself happen to be American. Holy shit, was that a spider? There was a spider on the left side of the screen. I never noticed that. That's another thing I love about this game. All the like little ins and outs of his desk you can see. He's got like a kid-friendly version of Necronomicon over there, and a little tabernacle full of prizes and toys, I would hope. Looks like we're gonna hitch a ride here. That's actually interesting. Last time I played this, it was stairs. Pretty much that just means it's not the dungeon exit, but pretty much the transition to the next level. Turn back? Yeah, that's if we want to go back and explore, which sometimes you want to do on the larger stages, but let's press on. Embark on the next leg of our adventure.
You show some.
I gotta turn off those trophy notifications. I'll do that next episode. Let's not break flow here.
As I thought.
So
Journey is well
here's a
begun.
tiny basic illusion of choice here. Oh, we'll get into that later. Let's go into Dead Man's Gorge here. See, you might have guessed already, but all these cards reveal something to you, and I think it's always either going to be an encounter or a shop that you can just go in. You don't have to fight anybody. Some of the encounters are 100% give you a benefit, like the Maiden, and some carry risks. Before you saw that the what was it, Twisted Canyon, the one where we got the sword, we had a 1 in 4 chance to fail. Now, failure in that situation doesn't mean you don't get the sword. You still get the sword, but you take a bit of damage. Not too much. I think 5? It's worth the risk for the sword, considering you get it either way. Later on, we'll get stronger weapons and stuff, and we'll face stuff like that out of our deck. I won't do deck building right now. Oh, wait, combat. I'll get back to my earlier point in a minute. But yeah, this is what really engaged me about the game, the combat. You can see we just drew the 3 of dust, which means we'll get 3 enemies of dust, which was foreshadowed by the Bandit King here. I'll show up here in a minute. Takes a while to load. Got medium armor, shield, and there's our sword. There we go. We got bandits we're fighting. What Dungeons and Dragons style adventures complete without bandits? So yeah, here's the controls. It's a real-time action game. Pretty interesting if I do say so. So we got, oh, just got hit there. So we got a stun attack, and we got an Arkham Asylum style counter. Honestly, with the shield, the combat gets really easy. Without the shield, we just got that combat roll you just saw here. But with the shield, we get this really large delay where we can have an opportunity to counter. See, and it just knocks him on the floor and you can just wail on them. Slow motion finisher. Now, it seems like I'm ragging on the combat a bit, but I actually like how simple it is. Because all your attention is on exploring the dungeon, making choices. You'll see the choices get pretty difficult later, especially the, I think it's called Devil's Choice, where pretty much anything you pick fucks you over, let's say. And every time you complete a challenge or succeed in a chance draw, you get some equipment. We got a shield, not too useful to us. We just got one. I guess we'll
Really?
equip it. Doesn't make a
Is
difference.
that what you're going to
But we
do?
did get some food, and food is important. You always want to have an abundance of food. Gold isn't too important actually. You can buy better equipment, heal, buy some food elsewhere, but at least in my stage of the game, you almost get all that stuff for free. So, yeah, here you go. You can see that we're choosing which card to go to. Doesn't make a difference here in the tutorial stage, I guess. Ah, here we go. That's what I was talking about before. A traveling mage. In a shady grove off the beaten trail, you find a traveling merchant looking to trade with wandering adventurers. I won't read too many of these little dialogue things because a lot of them will repeat. I'll try to read whichever one seems interesting to me at the moment, or if I can't think of anything to talk about, which will probably be a lot of the time. This is my first video after all. And by the way, congratulations. If you subscribe to me, you'll be one of my first probably dozen or so subscribers, and I owe you a lot. Everyone else who subscribes to me after this is just a poser. You guys are the real deal. You can say you liked me before it was cool. Okay,
Come now,
well,
hurry
enough
up.
of that. Let's
We don't
approach the
have
shop, see
forever.
what they have to offer. Now, there's more than one kind of traveling merchant. You got the mage here. There's a priest. I'm pretty sure there's just one that's called traveling merchant that'll sell you like equipment and whatnot. Maybe there's more in the future. I
You were
wouldn't
wondering
know. I
why
hope
you've
there
been
is.
collecting all that gold. You
This is
now
kind of
have your
annoying.
answer.
I don't see why
You're
the game has to
starting to
load an
get
entire
into the meat
encounter
of
for
the
just a
game
shop. Kind of
Back
gets in the
and
way,
forth
if you ask me.
between
But
resources and
let's go ahead.
rewards.
Plunder's cap. When you draw supplies, draw 2 and pick up 1. Interesting. Damocles. Not too interesting. The artifacts in this game range from mildly useful to just downright broken, and you'll see that as we go on. Slowing and weakening your opponent. Dragon ring. I've never found a dragon relic beyond the ring. I like how he has a little crystal ball showing you. Like, you can't see the item, you can see a card and a little representation of the item. It's a shady business, if you ask me. Let's sell off our extra shield here.
Fling your opponent's
See.
challenge.
So as you can see, we have 13 food, and we are not gonna go beyond that amount. So basically, we went an encounter just to sell a shield. Kind of a waste, if you ask me. Nothing happens in these merchant areas. They're just a store. Ah, ambush.
What did you think would happen? with
Man,
a
I love this
hardcore
game. I love,
ambush?
you know, RPGs and stuff like that, where you're just traveling along and you have a chance to get ambushed, and, you know, like old roguelikes and stuff like that. To a dust, not hard. So, I guess I should have mentioned this earlier, but the decks in this game are themed sort of after, you know, Suite of Cards 52. Is it 53? I can never remember. I believe the Bandit King was he the 10 or the Ace? I don't remember, but we do meet the kings and queens of certain decks. And there are 4 suites, if I'm not mistaken. Each suite having its own type of enemies. We got bandits right now. Later on we'll fight ratmen. And, well, I'll let you guys find out what's beyond that as we head along in this series. See, pretty easy. Eventually you start getting 9 of Dust. What is it called? It's not King, Queen. Sorry, it's not Diamond, Heart, Spade, Clubs. It's Dust, Scales. Yeah, we'll see later. So while searching the area for anything worth salvaging, you realize that one of your opponents is only pretending to be dead. Let's sneak up and kill them. I don't think we have to sneak up on a guy that's trying to sneak up on us, but I don't know, just throw a rock at him or something. Let's see. Success. A quick weapon blow to the head fixes that. You finish searching the area. I'm glad it was a weapon blow and not, you know, a normal blow to the head. I'm not really interested in doing that to my fallen enemies. Healing cap. Kind of useful. Mostly, I think it affects the heal you get from food.
All you need
It's kind of
is
the
a
only
channel
healing you
for
get in this
power,
game,
and
outside
it's
of like
simple
certain
enough.
items. The one I want to play through is I got an item where I gained health on every hit, and that was just broken.
You have
Jack of
reached my
Dust.
first champion, a good man driven to madness by a war that took all from him, wife and child, kith and kin. From such dark and brittle iron I forge my tools. Now we see your metal.
So we kind of get the idea here
This
that,
token will
I guess we'll
unlock
call him the
more
dealer.
cards if you can defeat
The
this
dealer
encounter.
is a very powerful mage. I'm not sure if the intro is going to get recorded in this, but we travel 13 gates and we have yet more gates to go through. I guess I don't know, it's kind of implied that we're dead, and we're trying to, I don't know, atone. Because later on he'll explain that the deck is not just, you know, just random encounters and whatnot. I think for verbatim he says, I designed the cards in abstract, but it's your memories that fill them with power, or he says make them real or something like that. So I guess he's like, oh, you'll fight a powerful enemy here, but it's our memories that makes it a bandit, perhaps one that we've killed or worked for in the past.
Cannot be blocked or countered.
And you see he has a pretty interesting effect here. I didn't take any time to read it because, like I said, these guys die pretty easily. Time slows down really heavily when you're about to get attacked. Kind of overpowered. But you'll see that the difficulty isn't in combat, it's in making decisions. You know, should I pick up this weapon? Should I take on this amount of enemies for a chance for a reward? Sorry, my words are getting messed up. I actually do have to concentrate regardless of how easy this is. I'm a big fan of Devil May Cry. I love stylish combat with combos and whatever. I do play a few fighting games. So this is nothing to me, pretty much. But I do tend to get into a zone, and if I stay quiet, then I apologize. This is supposed to be entertaining, and can't quite entertain you with stylish combos in this kind of game. There aren't any combos, it's just strike, strike, strike. Cue Ember Spirit from Dota 2, if any of you guys play that. One thing I do like is that even though the equipments are cards, you do get a model on your character.
Perhaps
I kind of wish you could customize your character, maybe a few set builds, male and female, young and old, something like that. But nope, it's just the one guy.
At the start of our road, you will face 11 more opponents who will test your strength, your
11 more
and your
rogues.
resolve. Few fall at the first hurdle.
By rogues, I mean baddies for us to fight. Not exactly
We've waited,
bandits.
And you have won. You may claim.
And every time you beat a boss, you get more cards to put in your deck. Now, at first it might seem counterintuitive to put deadly encounters into your own deck, but actually every encounter,
retain.
I haven't come across one that doesn't give you anything at all. But for the most part, every single encounter will give you something, even the Devil's Choice there. He's a bit capricious, but he does tend to reward you once in a while. It's worth it, I'd say. And there you go, we can get these now in the equipment deck. I haven't come across a screen yet that kind of explains, but so we got, I'm gonna call it the dungeon area, where's the little rooms we traversed across. Got the monster deck, the I guess encounter deck, the equipment deck. I think weapon deck is separate. Yeah, and every time we get a coin like that, we get more and more cards to put in our deck to give us pretty different scenarios. Like I said, I played this a little bit before. The first tutorial part is pretty much the same, but I'm pretty sure this next sort of real level, I don't know. The dealer has this theme of saying now is where the game really begins, which is actually pretty interesting. Like I said, the difficulty curve is satisfying to say the least, and I think I'll lay it off here for now. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and talk to your friends about me. Alright, see you next time.